Well, hello! Once again, you have found a Texas Steampunk Connection, broadcasting to you throughout the multiverse Steamverse from our various bunkers and airships. With me, as always, is Thax, Gentleman Adventurer.
Hello, hello.
With me is Jack from Steam Chest.
Hello.
And we have with us today Master Blue Stocking from Steampunk Dollhouse Podcast. So once again, we are here to talk, probably about steampunk, most likely, because that's what this is about. Thank you for listening to the Texas Steampunk Connection.
All right.
Hey,
Here we are.
we're here somewhere. There we are.
Hi, everybody. We're back with Axe and Jack.
Oh,
Blue Stocking
dynamic.
not with us tonight. She did get back from New Orleans safe and sound, and then all the allergies that she missed for the entire week hit her in one day, and
She's having to inhale the leeches to get it out.
so she's down with a migraine tonight. So it's just the two of us.
You and I.
Aw. Which is kind of, I mean, given the week that we've had, we need a little blue stocking power.
Oh, well, we'll have it next time. But until then, we'll just have to make do and be overly sarcastic.
Hey. Of course, what I'm referring to is the events of the Supreme Court overturning Roe versus Wade and taking away our rights to abortion and
Just general female anatomy healthcare.
yeah. I mentioned because we might be listening to this a year from now and not remember what the heck I'm talking about. On the upside, we did get a cold front.
Oh, yeah.
105 degrees down to
93.
yeah.
That was pretty nice.
You take what you can get.
Well, it's funny because when you hit like 95, it's like, this is hot. 100, you're like, oh, I don't want to be outdoors. And then like 105, you're just like, God, no. And 110 is, I don't ever want to feel this way. But then 114 is, I literally go from the car to the house and not breathe because it literally feels like you're just inhaling a convection oven.
Yeah. It's not the heat; it's the humidity.
Uh-huh. I'm glad I don't live in West Texas with the humidity we have down here. The difference between 55% humidity and 5% humidity really changes the dynamic of everything.
For sure.
One, you can sweat to death in West Texas and never know you were wet. Here, I don't know if it's sweat or if I'm just condensing more with my air conditioner.
Yeah, and I wish Blue Stocking was here because she could tell us how it was in New Orleans, where she's just swimming through soup.
New Orleans soup.
New Orleans in June is a challenge.
It's like cigarette smoke, mist, fog, burps of people wandering by who've been drinking all night, and it doesn't go anywhere. It just lurks right there.
Oh,
So you just wander through a patch of it. It's great.
that's fantastic. Yeah, love that.
Oh. Honestly, I've never been there, so I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to
We need to
we need to go as a group,
We do.
like in the fall or something.
Definitely. Maybe dead winter. Just like go ice fishing on, the lake or the river.
Wait, what? Ice? What?
What's
it
the
off.
ice you speak of?
What are you drinking?
I walk on ice. No. See, I was born in Ohio, but I was there for like 10 days. But the 10 days I was there, apparently out the window of my hospital, they were ice fishing on Lake Erie. So
So like you could see ice fishing through the window, or
Yeah.
they were ice fishing through the window.
No, they were ice fishing out the window, not like through the window, but like out there on the ocean,
Okay,
on the
Okay.
lake,
not
ice
like
fishing. Yeah, no, not like there's holes in the prenatal unit where they can put a fishing pole out the window. No.
hey, it's slow day.
What else you gonna do? You know, sit there, feed the babies, and ice fish. Sounds like that's like the most Ohioan thing I've ever heard. Actually, outside of trying to leave by any means necessary by getting shot into space if you have to.
Here, baby, clean this fish.
One of the weirdly surprising statistics is a lot of pilots for NASA all come from Ohio. So there's something about wanting to leave the Earth is definitely something Ohio wants to do.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's who you know. I mean,
Apparently, it really probably is. This is true. One of those weird statistics you get from like reading popular sci magazines for like the first 20 years of your life. Before, you just basically just stop reading those and you just switch over to internet. And now you have to like almost wish I got them still, because then I wouldn't have to worry about getting misinformation half the time. Or if it was, at least it's written down and I can like go boo somebody about it. You're wrong.
oh, Rita says, no, it really is the heat. And she's not wrong.
No, I mean, it can be humid and cold and it just feels like Colorado, but humid and hot, you're just in a soup of boiling, just hang out your chicken out there and just fall right off the bone.
You're always looking at the bright side.
You got to use what you're given.
I see you're having a drink of something.
Oh yeah, no, this stuff's great. So I have this wonderful thermal cup that like keeps ice cold for like 6 hours, and then so what I do is I pour one of these in it, and it's fantastic. It's the
black cherry water.
Yeah.
From the local HEB.
The Heb. Now, there's a lot of different flavors. This one's not bad. I'm going to say for cherry flavor is not bad, especially dark cherry. But their better ones are the unsweetened lemon and lime, which, oddly enough, I'm usually a lime person, but I like the lemon. It really does taste like someone just squeezed lemon in tonic water or in a soda water. It's very fresh, very fresh. Now, they have sweetened versions, which have different chemicals for sweetening, however you want to take that. I like it without them, and I'm very happy with that, so I do that. And they're cheap. They're exceedingly cheap, and they feel delicious. And you can feel delicious. Never mind. Seemed like that scene out of MASH. They ran out of water, sitting there. One guy washing his hair in his seltzer water he got imported from his mother.
Oh, good old mom.
But no, I highly recommend those if you have an HEB nearby. They're very light and frothy, and sometimes just too hot to drink. I just need something light, and I'm like, well, either I go get my lime beer that everyone makes fun of me for, or I'm just going to move into something else and say I'm just drinking a seltzer today without alcohol. Alcohol-free seltzer.
I know that's kind of weird now, right?
Yeah.
If it's a seltzer, it's alcoholic seltzer, which I find so far all awful. I haven't been a big fan.
I don't mind them. It's just the problem is unless they're exceedingly cold, the alcohol, when you sip it in, it still feels hot, which is weird. It's like hot and bubbly, even if it's cold. Like, I don't usually get that with soda water, so it's like the alcohol content of it messes with that a little bit. So I would rather try something else. I'd rather pour vodka in something else. It'll work out just as fine. Like orange juice.
As you like. Okay.
Yeah. But I don't do that right now. Right now I'm drinking something completely alcoholic free.
That's okay.
It's showing.
That's okay. I have an alcohol-free drink my own self tonight.
Whoa.
I know, right?
Both of us.
But at least I got something interesting. I am drinking. Are you familiar with Agua Fresca?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I figure most people in Texas are, but if you're not, Agua Fresca is the sort of fruit juice / Kool-Aid stuff that you see sold in the Mexican markets in this big plastic jug. And they got
Yeah,
different
and it looks
flavors.
fantastic. Most people think it's like an off-brand Tang or something, right? But it's not. It's its own thing.
Are they always like pre-made some brand, or do they make them themselves? I don't know.
I don't know either, but I just know that you're like. So I've been to El Paso a lot, and so going into Mexican, well, in this case, I guess going into a supermarket over there is a lot different than going to the Mexican aisle here, because
Right.
half the place is just it's just items. They're all thrown together. But I'll admit that a lot of the overseas or over the border stuff looks really nice and really like pops. And so a lot of their drinks, especially like the Coca-Cola in the glass bottle, is
Yeah.
like I'll even pour Coca-Cola in a glass bottle, just have it because it tastes better out of the glass bottle.
So there are a number of flavors of Agua Fresca.
Mm-hmm.
You can find your pineapple, your melon,
Mm-hmm.
your well, the one I'm having is horchata. Ooh. Which you can see is sort of this
milky color,
cloudy, milky looking stuff.
good stuff.
It is not milk. It is
Rice
milk,
yes.
which I assume is like
the milk
water,
it really carefully.
The water left over from after making rice. I think.
I mean,
no, it's not that right. No,
I don't know how to make horchata. I just drink it a lot.
I don't know. It's a rice-based milk thing with cinnamon and sugar in it, and it's delicious.
Yeah, but like you like cook the rice and you drain it, or like specifically, or that's the remaining liquid is then flavored. Okay, so yeah, obviously you discard the rice and cinnamon afterwards.
Essentially, you make rice porridge with way too much liquid.
So yeah, rice porridge with way too much liquid, which sounds like you should just strain the rice, eat the porridge, especially if you're putting cinnamon in it already. And
I don't know what rice porridge is either. I obviously don't cook.
Have you ever had oatmeal?
Sure.
It's that, except with rice. It's rice cooked with twice as much water. Now it's very big in Asian cultures too, actually, and it's very soupy rice. And so what they'll do is, those, I can't remember the name of them, but that little tiny square of like fermented tofu that has like 1 billion flavor molecules or something in it, that is like either people really like it or really hate it because it is fermented tofu. And the reason is it comes in like something the size of a seasoning square, and it's because it has enough flavor to give you like an entire like pho bowl of flavor with that flavor. And so they mix that in. But yeah, no, it's
okay.
Rice with double water is a soup.
Okay. So
I'm assuming that's what they do for this, except the Mexicans are just like, let's just make it a drink and cold.
I see nothing wrong with that. I love it. It's delicious.
Mentally, I would probably have a problem with it with like the concept, but since I've had it before, knowing what it was, I'm like, oh, this is the effect, like having it pouring the murky water off my rice into a glass, putting it in the refrigerator with the attempt to drink it sounds really weird. But having it going, oh no, this is what this is. After I've had it going, this is fantastic. How'd you make it? Rice tea?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's just rice tea. You steep the rice in twice as much water. Eat the tea bag, because why waste it?
That's the way to look at it.
And then you have your tea. You have your rice porridge with a side of hot horchata. And
I think you want to put ice in the horchata. I did.
Yes.
I never had it warm.
It's what they call it. They just call it rice water when it's warm.
Bleh.
See, PR teams really help. All right. That sounds delicious. I will admit this probably tastes better than going to the QT, the local like nice gas station that's got really good drinks, by the way. But they have an horchata machine, which I've rather been enjoying. But I'm pretty sure it's powdered stuff and the little slushy spinner thing. But
That's how I got it. Like
Yeah.
I've got the brand is Class,
oh,
and it's just at the Latino grocery store near my house. And I think it's pretty common.
You just
brand.
yeah, they probably
It's
freeze
in
dried it
the-
and
in
so
your
it's in
glass.
some powder.
Go.
Ooh. Okay, I'll have to pick me up some of that because that sounds really good. Sitting here looking over at my other screen, and people have like put like it's like a glass, it's full of ice, and then they have like cinnamon sticks sticking out of the top of it with like a little tiny bit of whipped cream on top, and I'm just like, why are you
What?
trying to make this look like coffee? I mean, it's really
What?
good. Yeah,
That's fancy.
and then you could even stick like a pineapple chunk on it. Like at that point in time, it's you're going deeply towards the pina colada side of things.
Erica says that's bougie.
It's bougie. Bougie horchata. Hey, why don't we just pour it on top of cake and call it tres leches or something? I guess that wouldn't work. 'Cause that's actually 3 different milks. Unless it's rice
You have
milk.
to rename it to 4 milk.
Three milks and an imposter cake.
Sus.
It's a sus cake. Oh,
What do you call a pasta in Among Us?
I don't know. What do you call a pasta in Among Us?
An imposter.
An impasta? Okay. There's the 8 to almost 9-year-old joke right there.
What do you call
Oh yeah.
a fish with no eyes?
What do you call a fish with no eyes?
A
A fish.
So bad.
So, actually, that's kind of a steampunk thing we watched the other day. Was the new
Ghost.
the new Ghostbusters, the one where it's all the kids, and it's
Oh.
really good. If you have not seen that, that was what I feel like the next Ghostbusters should have been.
The one that came out just a few years ago.
Yeah, not the one with the full girl team, which is
Right.
fun in its own right, but the one with like it's the finishing up of the story of the old guard and bringing in the new characters, and they really picked the right girl to play Egon's granddaughter. She's like you couldn't get it any better, and it has Mike from Stranger Things playing her bigger brother, which makes more sense why he acts the way he does in the latest season of Stranger Things, because he plays kind of this preppy kid that's like being a teenager and saying no a lot and being all kind of whiny. And like after watching this, I'm like, oh, it's because he just got off of this show or this movie and went right back into Stranger Things and had to train himself out of that. And but the show is like the movie's really good. I really like the whole it's the fallback. Zool's, breaking back again. It's the whole kind of it's the continuation of the original storyline from the original movie. And with the nice baton pass to the next generation. So I felt like it was finally like of the shows that have pulled that off, this one pulls it off right. And I'm very happy with it. It was exceedingly fun to watch.
Cool. Afterlife is what you're talking about.
Yes. And Paul Rudd's just perfect. Just it's like you added a little just enough sprinkle of Paul Rudd to just keep going. Anytime you're like, oh, this is starting to get a little boring, the Paul Rudd comes in and just bees Paul Rudd, and it's all good to go again. And like every character had its moment, and it felt like it was well done without being too like. It didn't feel like it was written too esoterically either. So there was enough surprise and whatnot, and every character had to carry it. So it worked out well.
Cool.
So go see it. It's steampunky. And there's proton packs, and they really like that noise.
And they got all 4 actors back too.
Well, I mean, obviously the ones that are alive. Egon's not alive, but they used his
that's
likeness.
right. That's right.
But they did a good job using his likeness.
I know for the longest time, Bill Murray said, "I'm not going to do another one of those."
Yeah,
So
and I think what it was is someone finally came up with the right script, and he's like, "All right, this one will close it, and I'm done. You know, this one will close it out, and it's actually appropriate." So,
very cool. Very cool. So let's see what else has been going on.
It's been
I mean,
hot.
Lots of current events. They're all awful.
Actually, well,
None of them are
there's been a lot of steampunk meetups happening, like a stupid amount all over the place.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I can't keep up with all of them. Like all over the states, there's just like all these little meetings, and there's a lot of ones getting planned. It just seems to be a lot of prepping going on, or people just having meetups, and not actually like big events. But
Okay.
I've been noticing that there's definitely an uptick in that, but not a whole lot of news because I always hear about it after the fact, and which tells me it's more local than they're trying to reach out. They're not planning it too far ahead. It's just kind of like, hey, let's do something this summer, or let's do something next month.
One of my challenges personally is to just like scour the local groups across Texas and try to find out if they're having local events.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get them all on one big calendar.
We don't have. Okay, so lead in with this a little bit, as we both know. There has been some talk on our webpage, on our Facebook page, and it got a little.
Page, but our page like reposted to. There's a group called Texas Steampunks, which is not associated with us.
No,
but yeah, there was an event, and I reposted it up there, and there was some talk about it.
Yeah, you can go read about it in our comments. It got a little out of hand, and but they did kind of bring up a problem that Texas Steampunks do have, and I don't know if it's really a problem. Some people would say it's a problem. Some people are also like, well, I wasn't going to drive, halfway across Texas to go there anyway, and I wanted to do something in that time period. So it just kind of comes down to being more communicative of plans that are happening, and maybe finding a more centralized location to strap all of our plans to one big place somewhere, or a couple where it's easy to go and see, hey, I'm free in 2 weeks. Is there anything in Texas doing anything I want to go do that's steampunk related? And having at least some accuracy of being able to go there and say, look, these are the events. And I know it's a big attempt that everyone's been doing. Texas is big. We're like 6/5 the size of freaking Germany. We are huge.
Yeah.
We're a fairly decent sized country in Africa. I saw there was a Reddit picture running around today about that, like just disproportionates and showing actually people's sizes of things. Like China is not much bigger than the United States. It just looks that way on the map.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
No. Stop that. We are big, and that's why. So one of the discussions was how much of a problem it is for two events to happen closely to each other on the calendar.
Yes,
like 2 weeks back to back or something, and that's just. I feel like that's just going to happen. It's a big state, and things are happening in El Paso and Dallas and Houston and San Antonio, independent of each other, and sometimes they're just going to get close to each other. They're going to overlap sometimes. You just have to pick the one you want to go to.
Yeah, I mean, like if you have like Steampunk November, pretty much everyone knows that has been to Steampunk November prior knows that Steampunk November happens second weekend of November. It's big. It's even in the name. But you have Steampunk November, and then you have a couple spring cons. You have a couple of July cons. I know July this is not Texas, but it might as well be. You have Alien Con out there in New Mexico. But and being a West Texas guy, I think New Mexico is part of Texas half the time anyway, because it's not that, if I'm going to go somewhere, it's 4.5 hours to go there anyway. So going into New Mexico is not a big deal, but from here it is. Here I'm almost a plane ticket.
Oh yeah, 8 hours just to
Oh.
leave the state. But that's
But
the whole-
I do get the issues of having, I want to go to all the events and I can't because they're back to back or they're in the same weekend. But I think that comes down to they'll weed themselves out to a degree, right?
I guess. I mean,
Or-
I think there's plenty to go around.
Yeah.
You just mentioned that there's a lot of little local groups that are having socials and meetups, and
Mhm.
they're not worried about them overlapping a con halfway across the state. I don't think big fandom cons are necessarily. They're not high priority steampunk events.
Not anymore.
So I
They're
don't
almost
think
always kind of halfway shunned anyway.
I don't think that we need to worry about whether our event is going to get too close to, a con in another city, which is one of the arguments made.
Of course, Austin's always had a hard time continuing any type of steampunk con base. So we always have to travel anyway, it seems like.
It's really expensive to rent space here.
Yeah.
And that's one major thing holding us back.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I mean, we live in Texas. We should be expected to understand we're going to have to drive to get to Dallas or to Houston.
But with these gas prices,
Yeah, that is rough. And the whole scheduling thing, I think, it seemed like the argument online was like, you have all year to schedule these things and you're right on top of each other. Well, that's not true. You don't have all year because May through August is out, or at least June through August because it's too hot.
or it should
Nobody's
be.
gonna leave home. Once it's in the high 90s, nobody's going to leave, no matter how cool your event is going to be.
Unless there's an iceberg being hauled in for it.
Similarly, you're really pushing it in November.
Mm-hmm.
And we've already got Steampunk November then, but we've also got Thanksgiving that you're competing with.
In October, and
then
October as well.
October, Halloween. So it gets really cramped out there, and December is shot because everybody is getting ready for Christmas and New Year's. All the Christmas events are happening. So there's no room for anything else there.
January is straight open, though.
I feel like in January, everybody's just exhausted from the holidays.
Oh, I feel it. My birthday's in January, and it's usually kind of an afterthought for everybody.
Like another thing.
And even for me, I'm just like, I don't really want to do anything.
I mean, you're right. It is open.
Give me a bottle of booze and leave me over the weekend.
But really, February, March, April are good, are the best. That's steampunk season. And then September, October, that's it.
Yeah.
So that's what, 5 months?
Yeah.
So
do you have 5 major? You can only have 5 major events then, if that's what you want to look at.
Because they're gonna be too close to each other.
Yeah.
So you can't have them back to back. That's not allowed.
If you 5 to 5 once a month for big cons, I can see working. But you got to figure out which big cons, where they're going to be, and honestly, having like a con in Lubbock, Texas, and having a con in San Antonio, to me, you're not competing. You're maybe competing for 20% of the people. There's not a whole lot of people who are going to be going back and forth there. You're going to have people who want to go to OniCon over on the coast of Texas, which is an 11-hour drive for people who lived in, Midland, Texas. So that's dedication. You've already planned to go to that. You're not looking at going to other conventions nearby at that point.
Right.
So I think it really comes down to the quality of your convention and the amenities, the space. And that's one reason like Steampunk November does so well, is it just dominates February or November. No one ever thinks about November being for anything other than that, really, for Steampunk. That's not true. There was a Steampunk, what was it? There was a convention. It was a smaller convention, but it happened usually tried to beginning of February, but it was over like way east Texas, I think. And I know some people have complained about that being you don't do anything in November because Steampunk November exists. And I'm like, I get it, but some people aren't going to be driving that far. And depending on even your convention, because sometimes your convention may just have heavy steampunk elements, but may actually be towards something else. And I don't know. I think it depends on the type of convention you're doing too. Because a fandom convention, it's whatever. It's not really a steampunk thing at that point. Now,
Right.
there are certain fandom conventions like Infinicon that do very well for steampunks because we are a good, I'll say, fifth of their group in a lot of ways. We always had a great contingent there. There's a couple of them where we have a pocket. They give us a room, they dedicate us a room, and we hole out in that room. But it's never been huge. We don't really have. We have our Wild Wild West Con, which is our November convention, and it's solely for steampunk.
You mean Steampunk November?
Yeah,
Because WestCon is in.
Yeah, I'm using that as that was a big one that would have been for like that was the one convention that I noticed that overlapped a lot of the West Coast. A lot of people from West Coast came into it, and a lot of people from Central United States went to it.
Mhm.
So I met a lot of people I've never met before or I've met again because of that. It was one of the only major overlapping conventions I've been to. I've never been to Dragon Con. I've always wanted to go to Dragon Con, but now everything's getting freaking huge. And I've been to the ones in Dallas, and I'll just admit that it gives me anxiety to be in there, and that's not normally something I have a problem with. When it also takes you 3.5 hours to walk through the con, and you can't get into any panel rooms, and basically you're just wandering around a sales floor, just like, what's the point? I hate when conventions get too big like that because there's nothing to do, which sounds stupid because there's so many things to do. It's not big enough for everyone to enjoy it that was interested.
I feel like I get overwhelmed with cons that big with that many people, and they certainly do remind me of how old I am. Because your typical gaming fandom cons are filled with young people.
Yeah.
That's what they're for. They're not for me anymore. So I'm a weird old guy now. I don't like this.
So might as well just be Obi-Wan Kenobi wandering through there going, yeah, it's me. I'm the old gun here.
But there's, I mean, you're going through all of these caveats and exceptions, and there really isn't any hard and fast rule for when's the best time to schedule your particular event. When is it not going to step on somebody's toes? You don't know. You can do all the homework you want, look for all the other events that you can find, and you're going to miss something that somebody thinks is important.
Yep.
And that's the way of it.
Now, I could definitely, as a person who's planned these things prior, you sit down and you kind of work your way down the list of which of the big conventions happening this year. And usually you can type that in and it'll pop up because their advertising is big enough. And you're like, all right, well, obviously you don't want to be stuck doing something in November right around the same time as Steampunk November if I'm doing a steampunk thing in the Dallas area. Now, if I'm doing it in like San Antonio, you are going to lose some people to it, but you're not stealing, I don't think, the people who plan on going to Steampunk November. So, or if their plans changed, then they're doing something more local. And I think really kind of just accepting that depending on how you want your convention to grow, you will, as you get bigger, if you are a very successful convention, will start, it's like a bubble. The bigger your bubble, you're going to start bumping into bigger bubbles, and the little ones are going to roll off of you. Until then, you're going to be, and if you're a little bubble, you're going to fall in the crevices around the big bubbles. And it depends on what you're fighting for at this point. And so I think
right,
as long as
you get the more of a gravitational pull
Yeah.
you have. But
People will know not to schedule on those weeks because they know that they're not going to be able to have that kind of, the commitments of those people going the other one.
right.
I guess it just really comes down to, for the small stuff, though, is having some sort of communication.
Sure. I mean, the bottom line is that communication is great and important, and we need to have more of it. I agree. But I also think in the end, you've got to, pick a date, and somebody's going to be mad about it, and too bad for them.
Yeah, it comes down to there's 365 days in a year. We're talking about 5 months, so that's what, like 30 days times 5, give or take some. That's 150 days, and of course,
only the weekends.
It's only the weekends. So then you're gonna take. Let's just take a fifth of that.
20,
there's like 30 days. 30 days, and I can guarantee you, there's more than 30 events for Steampunk happening in Texas in a year.
Yeah,
during those 5 months. So just do it. Have fun. And,
totally.
Yeah.
Just don't be that guy online who's going to bitch and moan about it incessantly. Don't be that guy.
If you're going to be that guy, go get a website. Set it up. Spend all of your life building up, trying to get everyone to go to it, because Lord knows I've tried.
So, since we're talking about events, what events do you know about coming up? We just talked about how June, July, August are dead. Is there anything we can pick out and think about going to? I have a few I could talk about.
You go for it, because I honestly have not looked forward on that. I feel bad.
Well, if you're in Central Texas this weekend, Victoria's Black Swan Inn has a haunted home tour.
Ooh.
In San Antonio. They have events all the time.
San Antonio seems to be
popping. Victoria's Black Swan Inn particularly is I'm told, because I've not been there yet, a really cool place to just look around and hang out and get pictures taken of yourself.
Ooh.
But they do a lot of like haunted home tours and that sort of spooky stuff, even though it's not October yet. But so they've got stuff going. Also, this Saturday, Fredericksburg Balloon Festival is happening.
Oh.
And
all right, take your harpoon gun. Let's go.
Given that the temperature is dropping and will be almost bearable, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. Those are two things happening just this weekend. Next month, Comic Palooza is happening on the 15th through 17th. It's
Nice.
in Houston. That's one of those conventions that's becoming way too big.
Is it North Houston or South Houston?
George Blobby Convention Center
Downtown.
So East Houston?
George R. Brown Convention Center. I don't know Houston that well.
Me neither. I just know it's got like 4 sides and they're all an hour and a half from each other.
Yeah. The Texas Haunters Convention is happening at the same time. So we're not the only ones that have problems with events bumping up against other events. It's in Mesquite, Texas.
I know where Mesquite, Texas
haunted
is.
houses, or like building a haunted house in your garage, or any of that sort of thing.
So if you're building a haunted house in your garage, you got to make sure you stake the right guy to haunt your house, because you're building a house that's not pre-haunted. You got to get a mover in. You got to get good rates.
The stakes have never been so high.
Oh.
And in Dallas-Fort Worth, or in Fort Worth, there's a steampunk industrial lamp building class happening at like some library.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
it's like Pipeworks for us.
They bring all the equipment, supplies, and everything that you need. You got to buy tickets in advance. They're like $100.
It makes sense because you're buying brass.
Right. You go home with a new lamp that you built
Yep.
yourself. So that was pretty cool.
It is.
Let's see. Delta H Con is happening in August, which is again Houston, and then San Japan in San Antonio is happening first week in September.
That's right, San Japan.
Now, most of those aren't steampunk events. Obviously, they're just the big fandom events that have
Mega amounts
out space, and since they're generally indoors, I guess the air conditioning is definitely a perk.
Well, with that many bodies, sometimes you hope it is.
But not a lot of steampunk specific over the summer, which is all I expected.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of like goth. You don't really want to stick it out in the sun too much.
Yeah.
Or I know reenactors do it, but they also melt. There's a funny picture. It's been so hot for reenactments that's been going on that they are leaving reenactment clothes in the spots where guys have died so that actors can go inside. And so there's these piles of clothes and guns, and it looks like, a bunch of like Jedis have just died on this field. It's like there's no bodies at all. Clothes.
They've been taken up.
It's like that or bed knobs and broomsticks, just kind of magic clothes, just taking bullets and falling over.
I don't think anybody remembers that movie anymore.
It's just such a great movie.
It really is.
Oh.
I watched it a couple of years ago. I'm like, wow, this is just as good as I remember.
And for years afterwards, I'm sitting there singing Portobello Road. This is like the best song ever. So yeah, no, take it from us. Go watch that movie. It's a little, a little kitschy, but it's fun.
I don't want to say it's a product of its time because that implies that it's not good anymore. But it is kind of.
It's very specific.
Old school Disney.
It's old school Disney, placed in the middle of World War II, about a witch.
Disney doesn't do that anymore.
And it's not even really a witch. She went like mail order witchcraft. Like the whole thing it just screams, like you said, the product of its times, but just supernatural. Oh, thank you. I got a cookie.
He has cookie.
Cookie.
Cookie starts with C.
Oh, and I've got something else. Since we're talking about events,
okay,
and not making events because there's been a pandemic or it's been too hot or you just didn't want to go out, I found a YouTube channel that's just like recordings from Wild Wild West Con 10.
Oh,
all the panels, all the ceremonies. It's like you're there, but you don't have to get off your bum to do it.
You can sit in your steampunk trousers.
There's a YouTube channel called Creative Play and Podcast Network, LLC.
Huh. So literally they were hired to go in there and just record everything.
I guess.
Or they went and just
cool.
did it.
It looks like some of the panels are just audio because, what's there to see.
Yep.
But others are video, and they've got some gaming videos with visual aids. It's all right there. If you wished you'd have gone to Wild Wild West Con, you kind of still can.
Be there in spirit. It's specifically anchored to one spot in the room.
Cool. And just like a post there. Okay.
Well, I did a little bit of homework myself.
Oh, good.
Because it's been so hot, you want to stay inside, right? So, why not a little bit of computer gaming? And apparently, there's actually a couple of games coming out that are very steampunk in 2022. How do I share my screen? Where's those buttons? Those buttons have disappeared. Or I never had them. Wait, there we go. Share the screen. Yes. No, not that one. That one. All right. So for those of you who obviously can't see the screen. This is Best Steampunk Games of 2022.
Whoa.
And it starts off with, let's see. Yeah, we've created the ultimate list of all the best steampunk games in existence. If you're a steampunk gamer, you need to play these next. I mean, obviously there's some of these that have already come out, like Dishonored. That one's been out a while. And it's, let's see. The theme also extends to characters and appearance. Okay, yeah. Basically, it's a, I haven't actually played this one because it's kind of a, I'll admit this Dishonored to me doesn't really feel steampunk. It's kind of got more of a, it's got that dystopian society feel to it, which with some steampunk themes in mind. World building, I think you're a character running around trying to solve a crime. And it's supposedly in Victorian era button-down coats and similar attire. So it's steampunk in the fact it's probably in the past.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They kind of like, oh, but then there's this really cool machination thing. But then there's Bioshock. Everyone has probably ever heard of Bioshock if you're even kind of in a computer game thing. It's pretty good. I like Bioshock. Never played it. I've watched it played. It has some of the best depictions of steampunk themes. Marries into gritty machinery and grandiose architecture and creepy underwater settings. And
the dungeon dressing is really nice.
Yes,
it really comes together. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Fist is. This is the first time I'm seeing this, and it's Forged in the Shadow Torch. One of the more recent releases is a side-scrolling platformer with eye-catching aesthetic developer calling for diesel punk, and it looks like your main character might be a rabbit that's wearing a powered suit, which I'm like, okay, that sounds fun. I don't know about this great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Apparently, it's a detective game, and there's a whole bunch of these, and this one just happens to be set in the aesthetic of like the 1800s, and so some of the courtrooms you're in feel old, which every courtroom I've ever been in feels old. Either it feels like it was built in the 60s or it feels like it was built in the 1860s. So I'm like, what are you shooting for here, guys?
Jack, have you been in a lot of courtrooms?
I have been in a lot of courtrooms, but not for the reasons you think. My parents were lawyers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not my convictions, but just I've been around that. This one sounds really cool. It's called Black Skylands. It is a top-down 2D game that casts you as the captain of a skyship traveling through a steampunk-inspired open world comprised of floating islands high up in the clouds. And it's essentially a little pirate game. You're running around. You're battling with pirates and monsters to claim new territories, and as you gain your territories, you have more resources to upgrade yourself. Looks really fun. It's a fairly small group of people who are making it. It's on your Windows, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, and Switch. So it's still a AAA game, but it was a fairly small group of people who were working on it. Project Grove. It's a puzzle game. Steampunk has this weird thing of we don't know how to make a game with it, but we can make a puzzle game and then just dress it up to look steampunk. So if you're really into puzzle games, Project Grove is really good.
When you say puzzle games, you're like little matchy games, or like your character has to go around and solve puzzles?
Literally, you run around Myst style and solve puzzles.
Okay.
And so, which is cool if you're into that kind of shenanigans of being lost in vagary and wandering around in wonderful landscapes.
Half the thing about Myst that was cool was that you just looked around and saw this cool stuff that they made.
Yeah, and you randomly clicked it all on everything, thinking it would move until you found something that moved.
Stuck.
Yeah, and then you would wander around going, "What did I change on the island?" Looking everything else. So you had to have like an eidetic memory for it to work. But
okay. Gotcha.
So that's another one. It looks really pretty. Let's see. Another steampunk inspired indie game called Flash Omen or Flask Omen. Yeah, Flask.
You've got my attention. Tell me more about Flask Omen.
Flask Omen. Well, it is a 2D puzzle platformer, which means it plays a little bit like a sideways scroller game, like Sonic the Hedgehog and Mario Brothers. and gives you that thinking, feeling, mechanical test subject field called Flask 157. And so you go through a series of experimental platforming challenges in an underground lab designed to test your intellect. So it's going to tell us if we're smart.
Wait, this isn't a drinking game?
I mean, you could turn it into a drinking game for higher level experience. But yeah, it's a steampunk Mario game, and mixed in probably with a little bit of Aperture Science feel to it. So
Okay.
we're gonna do science for science sake, no matter the cost.
Ooh.
And this one looks fun. If you like building cities, like SimCity kind of stuff,
Okay.
Dream Engine's Nomad Cities is a survival cities builder that takes place in the post-apocalyptic world defined as dark steampunk. In it, you're tasked with building flying cities gathered by materials throughout the world and using them to create an assorted sets of machines of different functions. Cities will frequently get invaded by dream plagues, nightmarish creatures that are all drawn to the power generated by your city's machinery. So it's like Factorio, and the fact that each building you build on there creates something that's necessary for another piece in the project. So it's a conveyor belt game where you go out into the world, gather resources, and fight things. You bring those resources back, and you build another piece of machinery that builds into your machination that brings in more materials so you can keep expanding, and upgrading. Fairly cool looking. The graphics are fantastic. And if you're a Factorio player or a Satisfactory player, this is a steampunk version. Oh, and it looks like it also has got a little bit of a tower defense vibe to it, too.
Yeah, it looks like TD6, but just more realistic.
Like TD6 meets StarCraft.
Like TD6 meets steampunk.
But it looks like you could lift your city into the sky to keep your evacuate. Oh, that's cool. So then you move to the next world. Oh.
So you can find out what stuff is there.
Yep. Interesting.
That looks cool. Yeah.
Another one is called Volcanoids, which the name like that, you can't go wrong. It's about volcanoes and digging underground.
Diggy hole.
Yeah, basically there's this big machine. I know this one. I've been watching this one for a while. So you got your drill here. I'll get rid of this. This is like your steampunk drill engine, and you attach it like a train, so you get more attachments that go back like train cars that give you more abilities to do different refining and like upgrade your tools and fight other beasts and whatnot. And then you drill underground with it, and apparently you're having to go through a volcano, and you get to fight things off that are attacking your train while you're building on stuff. And
It's multiplayer.
Didn't Elon Musk make one of these?
The Boring Company? Yeah, this would be more of a... Yeah, this is kind of the Boring Company done by Elon Musk slash... what's his name? The Tony Stark, but done in steampunk in the middle of nowhere. But look at that. That's cool. And you got like turrets and such on it, so you get to have to like drive it around and defend yourself while you're upgrading it and drilling and doing cool things and going on missions. So I've been paying attention to this one because it looks fun. I think you can play it up to like 4 people co-op. So you got a bit of a team fight and ability. So if your friends fail you, you can blame them.
Oh, one of those games that ends friendships.
Yeah. Then there's Frostpunk, which I've talked about previously. It's another city builder done in the fact that the Earth is losing all heat, and so therefore you're like in one of the last cities on the planet, and you have to build it up, and every decision you make affects your populace, including like if your populace have issues like uprisings and whatnot, you have to decide what to do with the uprising people because they're taking up resources if they're thrown into the gulag. So you can use them for forced labor. It makes you make hard decisions for the sake of the betterment of people and survival and
Slavery for the betterment of survival.
Yes.
Heard you.
Yeah, slavery for the betterment of survival. Yeah, so there's some hard decisions to make. I know you can kick people out if they are troublemakers, so they'll have to get marooned, and you have to send people out on expeditions to broken other cities that have failed to see if you can gather lost technology and bring it back. So, and there's like a gamble on that. They may not come back. So you don't want to send characters that are like, you want to send characters that are useful, but you don't want to lose them either if they're useful. So there's a lot of balancing act in that game. And it's been on my list for a long time. I probably just need to pull
It's kind of depressing.
It is. To ensure your people survive, you have to manage dwindling resources while earning your citizens' trust and harnessing a myriad of retro-futuristic tech inspired by the steampunk genre. That's right. If you piss off your people, they'll overthrow you and you lose too. So you gotta be very careful. You can't. Yeah, you're not in complete control, so you can't go complete Stalin on them either. But there are also random in-game events that require you to make tough decisions that will impact your villagers' quality of life and overall morale, both negatively and positively. Now, this is a fun one. I've played the original. It was actually one of the first videos I did for my YouTube channel, Mission Reloaded Gaming. And it looks like they're making a SteamWorld Dig 2. And it's a Dig Dug thing, but with the whole idea that
a side scroller.
It's a side scroller which you dig.
Dirt.
Yep. And you're looking for a guy. You're looking for this robot with a cool hat, which coincidentally looks a lot like my hat. And you're
How you know it's cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's my hat. It's always a cool hat. So it looks beautiful. It looks like it's probably a continuation of the original design. It looks like it's already a little more complicated with some of the more machinations and more trading and whatnot and more upgrades. But and evil thing. Oh, ooh, that's cool. Anyway,
the art is pretty compelling.
The art is very compelling. It is a very beautiful game. And there's a
I whooped and hollered like a shoot stuff.
Shoot stuff, move things around.
Drag things.
So
cool.
It's if you like more traditional games, I definitely think this is a good way to start because it allows it's as complicated as you want it to be, and it makes you feel good too. It's got a good ending, or at least the last one did. So
okay.
Speaking of depressing games, this is definitely one I wanted to hit on the list before we get done because I know we're about almost at time. But Sunless Sea. If it isn't clear already, doom and gloom are pretty common in the steampunk theme of games, especially ones as brutal as Sunless Sea. This is a roguelike RPG for survival, so you're able to go anywhere, do anything you want, which allows you to do a lot of exploring. And so as you travel or as you traverse the sunken ruins of a Victoria-era London in search of food, resources, and survivors to join your crew. It has been rated one of the best Lovecraftian games ever made. The storyline is so well written. The verbiage in it, the narration is great. You run around and there's this we have entered the sea of statues. Giants gape at us. King Geeter's castle rises ahead, where fools give up their future. And it's full of this. The world is so deep.
So this game, I don't know if you were aware, this game came from people who were previously writing a game called Fallen London.
Yes.
Which was free to play. It was not graphics heavy. It was more reading and trying to figure out what the heck the plots or even were. But it was very cool. You're in this sort of underground hellscape version of London, and you were not able to escape back into the real world, but you had to sort of figure out your way around London through, robbery or high society, or there were different skills that you could get for different parts of London society.
Yeah. And
you just had to figure things out on your own. There was not a lot of direction.
I've watched that one played, and it's on my Steam list actually. And I know Sunless Sea has come up with they've got a couple other games like that, and I believe they actually have done another one in that same feel, but more in the Sunless Sea way of playing things. So I think they went back and like updated or like reinvented their old game in that case. And then one I also have played a little bit right here. It's called Airships Conquer the Skies.
Ooh.
This one's goofy. I love it. I actually funded this guy back in when it was popular to how will you do it? Come up with the words to save my life right now. Where you pay people to make a game at that point.
All right.
Using
delicious. Sorry.
No, you're good. Using the GoFundMe. There we are. Derp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I help him with his GoFundMe. So I got the game like way early, and it's finally being released. Like he has said, it is done, and I'll make updates and continue. But at this point in time, as of like last month, it is, or as of like last week or 3, it is done. We're 1.0 now, and it is really fun. Let's see, I'll actually read some of the flavor text here. Instead of exploring the open seas, why not make your own steampunk aspirations to the heavens? In Airships Conquer the Skies. In it, you're tasked with designing your own custom airships and taking them out in the world to wage war on your enemy vessels. Gameplay is presented from a side-on point of view, allowing you to see all your ships, modules, and crew to the best to determine your commands, positions, and tactics. And so you're basically running your own empire in a kind of fast-paced civilization style build, and you're building your units, which is where everything really comes together. Is there any showing of any of the gameplay? Oh, there's not. So it's like you have cutaways of all your ships, so you can see all the stuff going on in there and all the characters and all the players moving around and like putting out fires and reloading guns and giving orders and fighting off invaders that have jetpacked, grapple hooked, or fallen on top of your airship to keep you safe. Oh, here's actually some footage right here of someone's game. I'll steal this from someone's. Oh, it's actually the original, so it's good. But yeah, you get to build it up with pieces and chunks. You get to name it. You get to add things to it, and then you fly around. You can control them or have the AI control them.
And then you fight an opponent.
Yeah, you get to fight opponents, and you get to build truly massive things if you so desire to. And you have ground units too, and little fighters and things. It's really goofy because it's only like when things catch fire, things go down real fast. And like you can have these train reactions. Like if your ammo stores explode, you can like take out your ship and the other ships and proceeding everything else around you, depending on how much ammo you had stored on your ship. And you get to fight some truly bizarre things that are either
giant tentacle monster.
Yeah, giant tentacle monsters count. Crabs, mad scientists are a thing. Elder gods are a thing. Oh yeah, flamethrowers, they're also a thing too. I don't know. It's stupid fun. You can play with your friends on it, and basically every time I am playing this with people, we're just sitting there like in scenes like this, we're just guffawing and laughing to the point where we can't even control our ships because stupid stuff is just happening. And
multiplayer?
Yeah, it's multiplayer. It can be multiplayer. So it's also single player.
Your friends in their ships, so you can gang up with them against a common enemy.
Yeah, or fight each other, and so you can control each other. Yep, the dragon. But it is full of stupid fun. It's worth like the $8 or $10, $15. You'll have more fun here than you will go into a movie playing this game. But
okay.
Yep. So there's my breakdown of all the greats of the steampunk games at this moment.
That's a few to pick from.
Yep, especially when it's summertime and you want to stay indoors, but you still want to do something steampunk. Here you go.
Yeah.
I will also drop this
at that time, so it's time we should probably be wrapping up.
Yep.
Before that, I want to give a special shout out to Johnny Steverson, who is we hope, host of the event we've been alluding to on this show. That's happening next year hopefully in March.
Ooh,
He's calling it Galveston Steampunk Festival.
nice.
Which is great because I like visiting Galveston anyway.
Gives you a reason to go to Galveston.
But he's still getting together like his vendors and his entertainment, and he doesn't have a date nailed down yet, I don't think. We'll know more as we get closer to it. But right now he's looking for vendors if you would be interested in going to Galveston, April of next year at the Galveston Railroad Museum, which I think would be pretty cool.
Oh, that's a big museum.
Hopefully it'll be a big event.
Yeah. That'd be fun. Let's do it. Get that planned.
Oh, he's listening now. So he says April 1st, definitely 2023.
Perfect.
So that's pretty cool.
We'll put that on our calendars, and we'll scream it to the skies.
Of course, I do want to also thank our Patreons, our patrons on Patreon for helping us host our podcast and pay the bills. So that's Dowager Duchess Claire Bear, Jenny and Ryan Shaver, Kitty Vincent, who I know is listening. Thank you, Kitty. And Rita and Lawrence Allen, who are also listening right now. You guys are awesome. You can find us at Texas Steampunk Connection on Facebook if you're not watching right now. Or you can email us at texassteampunkconnection@gmail.com. Our podcast to listen to later is texassteampunkconnection.podbean.com. We're on Twitter at TXSteamConnect1, and we're on YouTube and Rumble through the Steam Chest subscription box that Jack manages. So thank you, Jack. And our music is from Zapsplat.com. All right. And we are a little bit over at this point, so thanks everybody for hanging out with us. We will be back in 2 weeks. Hopefully, Stocking will be with us then. Jack, do you have anything else we need to add before we go?
Fly reckless.
And of course, mind your gauges.
Mind your gauges and fly reckless.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.